Alright, standards project number 4 is actually your third novel response project. The first one was one paragraph essay, the second one was a character traits essay. This one is called Book in A. So what is Book in A? Well, it is a project in which you will be reading a novel. It has to be a novel. There is going to be a bio in A where you get to read a biography of your choice, but this is not the one. The novels of your choice, you can read any novel you like as long as it's not one of the ones that we're reading in class or a novel you've already read. But I would encourage you, if you've enjoyed an author so far or a specific genre that you're enjoying, to go ahead and read that author again, a different book, or read another book of that same genre. That's kind of what got me into reading. It was reading the Lord of the Rings. Enjoyed those books and went beyond. Because when I was about your age, I didn't like to read either. But I think I've already told you that. Who cares? All right, moving on. You're going to make a project this time. There's going to be a little bit of writing, but not so much. You will be demonstrating knowledge and understanding of the story elements in this one, but it's not going to be writing an essay or even a one-paragraph summary. After reading your novel, I want you to try to think about the theme of your novel right there. This is the theme of your novel. What did it have to do with heroism or overcoming bad things or being brave? I don't know. Maybe there could be lots of different themes. You're going to choose an item that best represents that theme. So it could be a manila envelope. I don't know why. Oh, it's envelope is spelled wrong. There should be an E there. Envelope. Paper bag, plastic bag, a can with a cover, a box, or any other container that you could imagine. If you have to use a shoebox, then you better decorate that thing to make it not look like a shoebox, unless you read a story about somebody who sells shoes. I don't know. So you're going to decorate the outside of the container with details appropriate to the book. And maybe pictures you can draw on there, or you can wrap the whole container in some sort of paper that you make. You decorate ahead of time. Basically, when we look at your object, we should know something about the book. Okay? You also need to include the name of the book and the author. Name of the book's called a title, right? Yeah. And your name has to be on there as well. Here's an example. The student read Treasure Island, and you'll notice that the container is a treasure chest. Isn't that cool? Come on. Points for creativity. We've got the author's name down here. Their name was on the other side. So pretty good example of what it could look like on the outside. Okay, that was kind of weird. Anyway, what needs to go on the inside of your container? Very good question. The inside of the container has to include the following things. You have to write 10 questions that could be answered by reading the book. 5 of the questions are easy ones where you can just find the answer, like who's the protagonist? I don't know, where does this person meet that person? Something you could answer by reading the book. 5 of the other questions should be a little harder, what we call level 2 or 3 questions when we're talking about costas, where you have to require a little more thinking or interpretation or a combining of information from the book. So something like compare the protagonist's settings in the beginning of the story to the end of the story. And yes, you need to provide the answers for those questions. So 5 easy questions, 5 more difficult questions. Those have to be written down and included in the book, and they should be typed. You'll lose points if they're not typed or computer printed. You also need to have a vocabulary, which is a 10-word glossary. These are either unfamiliar words that you came across as you were reading, or if you claim that you understood all the words in the book, which is possible, then find important words that are related to the book or the character or the theme or something. An example like that might be a typhoon if you were reading that book about the kids surviving on the island. I forget the name of it. But anyway, you could define what a typhoon is even though you already knew that. And each word does need to be used in a meaningful sentence. Okay? And you can't make up some little bogus sentence like, this was a great word. Does that make sense? 10 words. Each one is defined. Each one's used in a sentence. This has to be computer printed too. And then finally, you're going to come up with 5 items that depict the story in some way. They could be actual items that fit inside the container. Little toys are often used. But sometimes students will get pictures off the internet and print them or out of a magazine. That's fine too. And if that doesn't work, you can draw them. But I do need to see some effort in your depicting items that represent the story somehow. Okay? Here's another example. This one had to do with someone who was surviving on an island. The title of the book is on the outside, name, and the person's name. There was a submarine in here because I think that's how they got rescued. All their stuff on the inside was written on parchment paper and then rolled up inside, which was a scroll. Pretty cool idea. They had their questions, they had their answers, and their vocabulary all inside. And as you'll notice, the message in the bottle certainly represents the theme of the person trying to be rescued from the island. And here are the inside items for Treasure Island. They drew a picture of a ship. This is coffee because I think it had something to do with coffee, or maybe I don't remember that. There's an X for X marks the spot. We're looking for the treasure. And then this little angel represented somebody. I don't need not even sure if it was supposed to be an angel. And of course they had sand here because there was a lot of sand going on. I'm not sure if some of these would have given you full points, but you really want to find 5 things that somehow represent the story and put them inside. And the last part of your assignment is going to be to give a presentation. Yes, you're going to stand in front of the class and you will explain the following. Why you decorated containers you did. You're going to point to the outside. Here's what I have here. This tree represents this part of it. You'll include the 5 items from the inside, and you have to include the 7 story elements. The tag, the protagonist, the conflict, 3 points of rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. If you want to write them down and use a form of notes, you can do that. If you can do it from memory, even better. And then if you want some extra credit, and it depends on how much you use, you can give examples of flashback from the story, or maybe an example of foreshadow, or maybe some other literary device that's not included up here. We'll see how that works. So there you will see somebody standing in front of the group. They've got their box in front of them and they're telling you all the different things that are decorated on the outside, what they mean. They open it up and share the stuff from the inside. Okay? Although that's Linus running for president, but that's another story. And finally we get to the rubric. All those points were included in the directions, and here they are highlighted for you so that you can see how everything works. All right? The outside, you're going to get certain points for everything. You can look this over. You're going to have this handed out to you. And that should take care of it. Make sure that you've got everything on the inside when you turn it in. Do not omit anything. You'll lose some points. And also, yeah, presentation. Okay, I've got everything on here. I think just the way this format came out is a little strange. But you'll have a hard copy, and if not, there's always one on my website as well as a PDF. And good luck.